Alright guys, you're welcome to our next session of the DevOps training. Today we are going to be looking at Maven, as we did promise yesterday. We're going to be looking at our next tool, Maven, and in our program for today we have a very short program. We are going to look at what is Maven. We're going to look at what is an artifact. We're going to discuss a bit about vulnerability. Then we are going to understand what we mean by Maven Global Saver. Then we are going to also talk about the Maven local repository. And then by the end of the session today, we are going to install Mavens on our personal laptops. Excuse me. We are going to install Maven on our own machines. By the end of today, we are going to install Mavens on our machines. Okay. To start up, what is Maven? Like we started with Git. If somebody asks you in an interview session that what is Git, you will say that Git is a source code management tool. Git is a source code management tool, and it is also a version control tool. Git is a source code management tool, and it is also a version control tool. Now, at the place of Maven, so what is Maven? What is Maven? Now, if somebody asks you, please, what is Maven? Tell the person that Maven is a build tool. Maven is a build tool. That is what Maven is, a build tool. Somebody asks you what is Maven, tell the person that Maven is a build tool. Okay, so what do we mean by a build tool in Maven? What do we understand by build tool in Maven? Okay, just a minute please. Okay, sorry for that. As I was saying, if somebody asks you what is Maven, you are going to respond that Maven is a build tool. So what is a build tool? What is a build tool? A build tool will perform these actions. Look at what we are doing in here right now. We ended at the level of we ended at the level in Git where we had a remote repository which we updated here, right? Okay. In our program, we need to understand what is Maven. So if they ask you what is Maven, all you just have to say is Maven is a build tool. That is all. Maven is a build tool. Every programmer understands what a build tool is. Everybody understands what a build tool is, but I'm going to tell you, when they say you are building something, if they say you are building something, there must be a result of that build, right? If they say you are building, what is his profession? He is a builder. What does he build? He can be building engines, he can be building cars, he can be building houses, he can be building any type of thing, right? Construction, actually. So Maven is a build tool. What does Maven actually build? What does Maven actually build? Maven builds an artifact. All right, Maven constructs an artifact. Okay, so here we know that what we uploaded here was what we did upload into our repository was various patches of code. In our repository, all we had there was patches of code. These patches of code were committed into our remote repository. All of them were committed in so many several ways. So what we have here is a code. It is a code. Even if it is completed, it is a code. Okay. There is a problem. Is everybody able to see my screen? Please, can you?
Sir, we cannot see your screen. I just joined and I cannot see anything. I thought that was the only one.
I, for one, I cannot see the screen.
Oh. Is it okay?
It's not. Yes, sir. But it was not visible since.
And you people were sitting down without saying anything. You are not normal.
I was about to talk because I just joined. I thought it was my connection.
No. You guys, when there is a problem, no matter what, don't think of your side. Even if it is at your side, you say it that you are having a problem. Okay? If the problem is by your side, always say it that you are having a problem. We'll come to your aid. Alright. I was trying to say that we have a situation where we have a code. We have a code that has been built. All that we have in our remote repository is a code. Everything that we have in our remote repository is a code that has been built and kept into that repository. So, with respect to this code, what do we want to actually have? Did the client ask us to write him a code? No, the client asked us to build him a software management system, not a code. The client does not care what a code is. The client wants us to build a software management system. And what are we handing to the client? Are we handing this code to the client? No, we are not handing the code to the client. What are we supposed to hand to the client? We are going to hand to the client what we call an artifact. We are going to hand to the client what we call an artifact, right? An artifact. And what is going to build that artifact for us? What is going to be the build tool that will build that artifact for us? It is going to be Maven. All right, Maven is going to build that artifact for us. So we have uploaded series of committed code into GitHub. Those series of committed code are going to be built by Maven. And what will Maven build? Maven is going to build what we call an artifact. Maven is going to build what we call an artifact. All right, so in real sense, where are we? We are saying that we are going to be using a build tool called Maven, and Maven is going to be building our code and producing to us what we call an artifact. Question: what is an artifact? What is an artifact? Now let's go to my personal documents here. Now this is my personal documents. When I want to download, for example, the last time we wanted to download Git, we downloaded a Git file. an executable file in Git. This is that executable file in Git. It is an exe file. This is what we call an artifact. Is this a code? Is this the code that you wrote? No. If you double click it, do you see the code that was written? No. All you see is some sort of an icon and then the name, and then with an extension exe. This is an artifact. That is what Maven is going to build. Maven is going to build you an artifact. There's an artifact for every software. This is a Firefox artifact. This is the Git artifact. There is artifact for every type of an application that is going to be installed. It can even be a zip file, right? It can even be a zip file. All of these are artifacts. So artifact is code that is compiled into an installable format. So generally you talk of look at Maven like what programmers or the developers in the old called compilers, right? That is an artifact. So an artifact is the result of the build that was performed by Maven. That is an artifact. Okay, so what is a build tool? A build tool is that tool that converts your code into an artifact, right? And then what is an artifact? An artifact is the result of a build tool which is ready for deployment. That is an artifact. All right, so here we have uploaded our code. Code has been uploaded by developers. Code has been uploaded by developers to our Maven repository, our Jenkins Git repository, excuse me please. Code has been uploaded to our Git repository, remote Git repository, and then Maven takes the code from the remote Git repository, and then Maven is going to build an artifact. Good. Now let us see what vulnerability is all about. Vulnerability. Now before I talk to you about vulnerability, I want to talk to you about something. What is an API? What is an API? Question in the interview that was once
Application program interface.
Thank you very much. Application programming interface. Like I was saying, question in an interview that I was once baffled was, what is the difference between an API, comma, dependency, comma, and plugin, right? What is the difference between an API, dependency, and plugin? We will come to all that when we are going to be doing revising and all the like, preparing for interviews. Now, but let us focus on API. What is an API? Somebody did say application programming interface. Excuse my spellings. Okay, now if an API is an application programming interface, what does it actually do and why do we need them? What does an API do and why do we need them? Okay, let us visit a website. Let me look at a website like appstack.com. Did I get it right? The best way is to go through Google. Good. let's see appstack.com. Okay, cool. Look at this website. The reason I want to show you this website, is it actually the website I am looking for? No, this is not the website I'm looking for. I think that is the website. All right. Okay, look at a website like this one. Now, this website was built by engineers. But now, when you look at a place like here, they are asking you to select language, right? They are asking you to select language. And when they're asking you to select language, you can change this website into might be French, English, Spanish, in any language that you want. And when you come down here, you will see a map that is produced to you, right? This map that is produced to you was not built by the developers. It is a simple API that has been integrated by the developers. So the reason why I am bringing this is that what? Why do developers need API? Because it is difficult for you to finish your application without using externalities of a third party. What are externalities? Externalities are added functionalities provided by third parties. For example, Google Maps is provided by Google, and when you build your application, you integrate Google Maps into your application. How are you going to integrate Google Maps into your application? You are going to use APIs. Another good example, let us come back home and use MTN. Today, MTN says that they are leveraging their mobile money platform. If you can add any value, if you can develop any application that can add any value to mobile money, their APIs are free for you. And then there is this one guy in Boya who comes out with an app called Switch N. Without any publicity, please. This app, what does it do? It links MTN, Orange, and Camtel together, which means that what? If you don't have data in Camtel and you have mobile money in MTN, you can buy your Camtel data from MTN. If you don't have data in Orange and you have money in MTN money, you can buy your data of Orange from MTN, and vice versa. What has this guy simply done? The guy has simply leveraged the APIs of Orange money, MTN mobile money, and then link it to his application, which is Switch N. So an API is some sort of a lock, a connection between two applications that make the applications to talk to each other, to share information. Anybody who wants that his application should talk to another application must ask for the API of his collaborator. You must share your API to somebody, and then that person's application will talk with your application. That is API for our own understanding. Now, where will you put this API? This API has to come and interact with your code that you actually wrote. This API has to come and interact with your code that you actually wrote. So the question is, what if somebody creates an API and then mask it as an API when actually it is a virus? Why if somebody creates an API, tells you that, sends it online and tells you that this is an API for integrating Google Maps, but that API is a virus? Or if the API is written in such a way that when it enters your code, it will be stealing information from your code and sending back to the person that developed the application. How will you know? You might not know, right? You just shippingly take the API and integrate with your code and pass. So that is where the concept of vulnerability comes in. Vulnerability comes in at that level. So the vulnerability that we are talking about is that most applications always need to interact with APIs. Always. They will always need to interact with APIs. Now, because there is vulnerability, how is this vulnerability solved? There is a situation that Maven has brought that has solved the vulnerability, right? In that case, we are going to start looking at the understanding Maven Global Saver. So, because of the fear of vulnerability into people's code, Maven now creates a global saver. A global saver where all APIs are put. If you want your API to be trusted, that API must be sent to Maven Global Saver. That API must be sent to this Maven Global Saver. If your API is not in Maven Global Saver, it is not trusted. So what has Maven Global Saver done? They have just tried to study all the APIs, scan them, and make sure that the APIs are actually performing exactly what they are asked to perform. So you, my young developers, I know there are young developers here like Roberto and maybe Onel that are developing. You should not take APIs from the blue, from anywhere, and use. No. If you want to use an API, don't just go to Google and enter any site and download an API from there. You are vulnerable. If you want to download any API, take the APIs from Maven Global Saver. And what is Maven Global Saver? What is Maven Global Saver? Maven Global Saver is just a repository. It's just a website. It is just a website, please. And that website is search.maven.com. If we go to the website, we'll let's go to the website.
Service, I think your screen, or Masai, your screen is blocked.
My screen is blocked.
I cannot see anything again. It's blocked on one image.
All right, let me try to see what is happening. All right, we are saying that our Maven Global Saver is nothing but a website, and that website is search.maven.org. When you enter search.maven.org, here you have when you come to search.maven.com, you are going to see this is where nearly all the APIs that are trusted are found. Okay, you can search for any API here. If I search for Wati, what is the Wati API? That is Wati should be an API that integrates WhatsApp to your applications. Am I spelling right or wrong? And if you search for maybe let's go to WhatsApp. Google Maps. Okay, this is an API, Google Canvas layer. So this is actually what you call an API. Just this piece of code, this is actually what you call an API. Okay, you just need to take the code and then you use it. So how do we use that code in Maven? Now, when you are here building your application, you are building your application here. If you take the APIs and link directly with your application, directly with your code before it is being passed into Maven, there will be trouble. What you do is you will always take these APIs and you are going to link it to a Maven folder. There is a Maven folder that is going to be produced in your local drive. There will be a Maven folder which is nothing but a folder called the pom folder, pom.xml. In an interview question, they will always ask you, what is the main folder of Maven? What is the main folder of Maven? The main folder of Maven is a folder called the pom.xml folder, right? This pom stands for project object model, right? This folder is where your API is going to come and be. So your API is going to be in a particular folder which is going to be separate from your code. Therefore, even after all that scanning, your APIs that are coming are still foreign. They are not going to interact directly with your code. They are going to be hosted in a different file, different from your code. Okay, so here is where we are standing. We are understanding the Maven Global Saver. We are at the level of Maven Global Saver. So the Maven Global Saver is nothing but a site that contains a series of APIs, trusted APIs. That is a Maven Global Saver. Now, the Maven local repository is the one now that is found in your laptop. So when you install Maven, there will be this file that will be found in your laptop. Okay, this API now will be downloaded to your file, right? And where the file, all of them will be totally sent into Git, where Maven is going to handle everything and produce you your artifact. Up to this level, is there any confusion?
So please, can you explain back that pom.xml?
The pom.xml file. Okay, when you install Maven in your computers, in your laptop, we are going to install Maven in our laptop. When you will install Maven in your laptop and Maven installed in your laptop, when a project will be built, whenever there will be a build project, there will be a pom.xml file. This pom.xml file is what is going to contain all these dependencies like this. These dependencies. This is where all the dependencies are going to be stored. Actually, it is the main Maven file that controls, that is the tool in Maven that actually controls the building and repackaging of your artifact. It controls the way your artifact is going to be installed, or the way your artifact is going to talk with another application. So the pom.xml file is the main file in Maven. So they will always ask you, as I said in the interview question, what is the main file in Maven, which is the pom.xml file, which stands for project object module. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. All right. So with that set aside, we are moving directly to installing Maven. Okay, we are going to install Maven. In your notes, I have given you the various steps on how to install Maven. Okay, we'll start. Maven is going to need a dependency which is Java 1.8 or higher. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do in order to install Maven is that we are going to install JDK, Java Development Kit 1.8. We are going to download it and install it. All right, that is the very first thing. So let's head over to JDK download. The good thing about DevOps is that most of its tools are open source. JDK, we said we are installing 1.8. 1.8 or higher. You always take it from it is an Oracle product, so we take it from Oracle. Okay, you are going to select which one you are installing. Are you installing for Linux? If you have Linux, are you installing for Mac? If you have Mac, here I am using Windows, so I'm going to search for Windows 64. I'm going to search for Windows 64. This is the 64-bit edition. Okay, I need to download this one. Please, some of you try to get to me through WhatsApp while I am in class. Just talk in class. All right, just talk in class. So you should be a user of Oracle, I think. I don't remember ever having an address. Or the good thing I do is that I have one and the same password that I use everywhere. So I think I have forgotten my password. Am I going? Forgetting password. Where the heck is that? Okay, because you guys will not have an Oracle account, it is always good to download it from Oracle, please. it is always a good thing to download it from Oracle. Password must have upper and lower case letters, at least one number and a special character, not match or contain email, and be at least not match or contain email. That means your password should not be an email password. Damn. Still not much. Okay, let us put a password in which we are seeing, which is DevOps at 1 2 3. I think this gets it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. This should get it. Now let me change this email to my Gmail. Cool. All right, that means the password is okay now. All right, I hope all these ones are okay, automatically filled. All right, create me that account. I thought they said it was okay. That is it. Let's be normal. It is now okay. Job title DevOps engineer whatsoever. Okay. All right. So there is also one thing for those of us handling Amazon and all the like. Look at the series of email accounts that I am having here. All these series of email accounts were once linked to an Amazon account. So, and in order to arrange them very well, it's just good to always have them in one place. Have all your email accounts in one place. If you don't know how to do it, we can do it together when you have time. All right, I think is this what I'm expecting? I'm expecting an Oracle. There you go. Okay, I should verify my mail. So this is a one-time thing, please. It is not an everyday thing that you will always do all the times. No, I thought I had an account. All right, now what can we do? We can go now, since we already have an account, and then we'll put our username now, which was and then our password was DevOps 123. Then we try signing in now. Now our file is being downloaded. The file is 211.57 megabytes. I want to make it to download to a particular drive, which I like all my programs to be downloaded, which is a programs drive. Good. Start downloading. Alright, I open now the folder. This is the folder. So you see I have formal versions of the folder, but this is the latest version of the folder. Okay, this is JDK, the latest version of the folder. It is an executable artifact, so I can just go ahead and hit execute. Yes. So you give it some time for it to actually install. Sorry me for my slow computer. So the main thing you do here is just to click next and allow the program to install. All right, our program seemingly is completing. Let it totally complete its installation. Okay, always go through this. I've read it all the time, so always you make sure you read it. Don't continue without reading it. I want the destination folder to remain the same. So when we will come to Docker, you will now understand the advantages of Docker. In Docker, all applications are bundled with their environment variables. What is an environment variable? Java is an environment variable. So we cannot install Maven, we cannot run Maven in any computer without installing Java. That is how there are so many operating systems, or there are so many apps that you cannot run without a dependency or without an environment variable. So, but with the coming of Docker, all applications are bundled with their environment variables. You don't need to set up any environment variable for somehow or for whatever reason. You just take the application and then you deploy and you start using. There is no environment variable setup. So our JDK is installed. When we install our JDK, it is found somewhere. It is found in a particular folder, right? Let us go to this PC where programs are always being installed, local disk. You should go to your programs file. You should see some sort of Java. You should see JDK, these two, and then let me take a look at this other one. There are two of them. So you take JDK 1 point, the first one. You go for the first one, please, because we are looking at the development environment. Okay, take this one. Now when you are here, right, when you are here, you are now at the address where JDK is installed, right? You are now at the address where JDK is installed. You have to do something. You have to copy this address and add to your system variables. Where is your system variables? Come to this PC, right click on this PC, come to properties. When you right click on this PC, you come to properties. Here you will see advanced setting, and then you see environment variables. In the environment variables, we have two. We have user variable and then we have system variable. This is where we are interested. We are in system variable. When you come to system variable, you are going to do two things. The first thing you are going to do is you are going to create a new home variable. Okay, you are going to create a new home variable. You click on new, and then the name of that your home variable that you are going to create is Java underscore home, and then the variable value is going to be the address where your JDK was installed. If I right click on this terminal here, I'm going to copy the address. All right, if I copy the address from here, what am I going to do? I can come here and I click the address. I click and paste the address here. You see, this is the address where JDK is installed. Okay, that's the first thing I've done. I've created a home variable and I've given the passed the variable value where JDK is installed. I click OK. The second thing I will need to do again is I'm going to search for the path. In every operating system, Windows operating system, you always see this path, right? I'm going to go now to where my JDK was found, has been installed. I go one step inner. I click on the bin folder. I go one step inner inside this bin folder. So here is normally where we are. We are going to click on the bin, right? And then we are going to take now the address from here, copy this address, and then we are going to come back to our development variable, our environment variables, and we are going to look at this path. In this path, we are going to edit it. Click on edit. You see other paths are there. I want to add my own path, add a new path there, and then I right click and paste a new path that I've just created, and I click on OK. Right, I'll finish with that one for JDK. Right, I've finished with JDK. Now I can close. Have we talked about Maven? No, we have not talked about Maven. So let us go and install Maven. Okay, we have to also download Maven. So let's go to our Google and search for Maven download. Maven download. So Maven is a product of Apache, right? So when we see download Maven here, we arrive this folder. We are looking at the particular folder to download. So these are the various releases of Maven. Okay, we are going to download not the tar, not this one. We are going to download this particular one, the bin binary zip archive. Okay, that is the one that we are going to download. It is about 8 megabytes, so it is not heavy. I'll also still like to put it in my programs folder, Apache Maven. Start download. Okay, it is downloaded. Now here it is. I have several ones. This is the former one. I was using 3.9.8.7, so it has been upgraded now to 3.9.3. So you see things are going up. All right, while here, what do we do? It is a zip file. So what do we do with a zip file? We extract the zip file. Okay, we extract the zip file. We are remaining with 10 minutes. We extract the zip file. Let's extract the zip file here. Okay, when you extract, the file is extracted mostly at the bottom. Apache. Okay, this one is so intelligent that the file has been extracted and rearranged in alphabetical order. All right, this is the file that has been extracted. It is a zip file. I've extracted the file here, right? So when I extract the file here, what do? I open the file, and when I open the file, I still do the same thing that I did with JDK. I copy this address. Then I go to this PC, open properties, go to advanced systems, go to environment variables. I come to the system variables. I create a new variable. In this new one, I am writing now but m2 _ home, and then in the variable value I am clicking the path where I extracted my Maven. I say OK. Then now I go again to that very particular path. I go one step again further in the bin file. I open the bin file, and then I still copy the address of the bin file. When I copy the address of the bin file this time around, what do I do with it? I come now to the path folder. I open the path folder, and then I click on new, and then I paste my bin directory there. Click on OK. Fine. If we did everything OK, then we have successfully installed Maven. And to show that we have successfully installed Maven, let us go to our CMD. And if we go to our CMD and we run mvn -- version, and the version comes out, then we have successfully done so. mvn version. Let us wait. Oh, that is great. We successfully installed Maven, Apache Maven 3.9.3. It is installed. It is installed in home. The version is 1.8. The Java version is 1.8.0, and we are ready to use our Maven. Yay, we successfully did that. Is it complicated? Any question? Any questions, please? Do we have, okay, I consider that we totally understood everything. Is that?
So does that Maven has a user interface, like a graphical user interface?
If Maven is having a graphical user interface, no. Maven is not having a graphical user interface. Maven is operated from the command line. And in real effect, you will not be using Maven directly. You will be using Maven indirectly inside Jenkins, right? This show of installing Maven in your own personal laptop is just for you to see how Maven will operate in your laptop, and to demonstrate to you and to make you see the real files of Maven and how they function. In reality, in production, you are going to be using Maven only inside, incorporated with Git, right? Incorporated with Jenkins, please. You are going to be using Maven incorporated with Jenkins. So with Maven incorporated with Jenkins, it is going to be running some sort of in the background. It is going to be doing the work automatically. We are going to be installing Maven, but in our EC2 machines in the cloud. I know we said AWS DevOps, and up till now we have not yet touched the cloud. People are wondering, how is AWS linked to this DevOps? We are going to be performing after Maven. Everything now is going to be done in the cloud. Everything is going to be done in the cloud. So these were tools that we are just explaining them and trying to make you understand them. The complexity of DevOps comes now immediately when we are entering Jenkins to start using these tools in the cloud, and that's where the complexity starts coming in. Okay, so for now we are going to be using Maven on our command line terminal. No user interface. I know when we are used to the Windows operating system, we are always in search of a user interface. And then for somebody like Mr. Kiba, please, I will refer you to the early videos, the first two videos of AWS, for you to master Linux. Linux is very important when it comes to DevOps. It is very, very important, please. And questions in the interview can also come from Linux. They have always come. I remember they once asked me about how to change the file security system, the folder security system, how to give access to groups, access to owners, and access to others. They once asked me that question. It is very important to do Linux when you are venturing into DevOps, and there will be so many commands that we are going to be running, and some of those commands you don't just need to cram them, you need to understand the commands. So I will refer anybody that has not done AWS to at least watch those two first videos of AWS. It is very important for you guys. It is very, very important. Okay, any other question, please? Our session is about ending in 2 minutes. That means we were on time today. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes, you are on. You are on.
I said, yeah. Sir Clement, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge that, yeah, I will go through the first two classes of AWS and I will watch the videos.
Okay, that's great. That's very wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I think our class today was perfectly in 1 hour. I pray God all the classes are like this. All right. We meet probably tomorrow for a continuation of Maven. See you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.